My name is Jay Howe, and joining me are Tetcher and Colin. Gentlemen, how you feeling about this final matchup?
For starters, I like the little equalization we've got going on here in terms of heights, but overall, I am really excited about this matchup. No one expected HeroesHearth to be here. Very few people might have expected Team Liquid to be here. This is an unexpected matchup, and it's one that has never happened before. This could be really exciting.
I just really think that HeroesHearth needs to step it up when it comes to their confidence. I think that they have what it takes to take down Liquid. I have a lot of faith in HeroesHearth personally, just because I've seen so much of their gameplay. I really just think that they have what it takes. That's really all there is to it. Liquid, though, just a formidable foe in themselves. I don't think that they've really performed up to where I thought that they would have so far, but I think that this series is going to spell something completely different for both of these teams.
Well, speaking of what it takes, we have the bracket to see what it's taken to get here as we see how things have unfolded. Obviously, Dignitas made their way through the top, and Method leftovers, obviously the ones that defeated HeroesHearth, and then Team Freedom. Octalis has just qualified, gentlemen. And now we have that matchup of HeroesHearth and Team Liquid. One of these teams will be going home, and I don't think either of these teams coming in with the records that they had expected to be in this position. And we'll take a look more at the schedule on how this unfolded as we look here at HeroesHearth and Liquid. Obviously looking forward to tomorrow as well as Dignitas and Method. But gentlemen, when we look at that bracket and how things have unfolded, what stood out to you the most, Tetcher?
I mean, obviously the fact that this looked like it was going to be an EU sweep, but suddenly pulling a Braveheart, Freedom, come in and bring the life of LA coming into that upper bracket. I am excited to see how that goes.
He's been working on that all afternoon since he casted Freedom. That's a true story.
Yeah. For myself, obviously most people know about me. Like I've been part of Tempo Storm, so seeing them fall in the previous match for myself was probably the most surprising for me.
Well, obviously with Team Liquid, they are another team that probably didn't expect to be here as we take our look at them. And for them to stand out here, the standout players, we know the names. We know HASUOBS. We know the likes of Nurok. ETHERNAL's been killing it all day. But what is it going to take for this team to start bringing it together? What's been the missing element that you guys have seen throughout the day today?
Not entirely sure. Overall, I quite liked their drops versus Team Freedom, but overall they were just outplayed in a couple of those crucial boss fights especially.
Yeah, that's actually exactly what it is. In a couple of small areas, they were just getting outplayed by their opponents. I really do think that Liquid has all of the tools they need. I don't think they're missing anything when it comes to the draft. I think that, you know, them coming here to North America, scrimming quite a lot against other NA teams, and also Liquid has said themselves that they scrimmed a lot against Dignitas. They had the partners, they had the preparation. All they need now, the execution.
That Sky Temple game just was so close.
Yeah.
It seemed like that was closeout potential for them, but obviously the Samuro play, I think that just kind of threw a wrench into everything. But gentlemen, Arcaner has been kind of the name of the game. He's been that carry style hero for this team. I think a lot does rely on his shoulders, but ETHERNAL as well has made some incredible plays throughout the day.
He really has. Some of his engages have been superb. Another player I'd really like to point out is Nurok. The amount of plays he was able to make on Deckard Cain earlier on in the day were insane. I would have no issues with him staying on that hero forever, but of course, bans are a wonderful thing.
Well, there's Hanzo, Crow in there, as we could see him drawing up the arrow. ARTHELON, my favorite, of course, being the next tallest here. HeroesHearth, their drafts look somewhat different than what we expected. Medivh and Maiev were something of the past that we've seen HeroesHearth run before, but is this a change in mentality? Did they pick up something in scrims? How did they start coming back to their old ways?
I really think, and this is a little bit of a it's a little bit of like a cult thought, but I think that Dignitas has incepted all of NA. I think they came to North America and they played this style, this Medivh, this Deckard Cain, this like different style that we're not used to, and all of these other teams are picking it up, but it's actually just a ruse. Dignitas are like, yeah, you actually think this is meta? It's not. We're used to playing against this. We know how to counter this. Go ahead and pick it, because we will body you.
So here's where I'm actually torn for the first time at this event, for example, in the fact that the Open Division Alliance is a thing, but Team Liquid are from Europe, and I think what's going to swing it for me is J-How. As much as you do cast the Pro Division, you used to be one of us. You used to be an Open Division caster.
I was there for the birth of HeroesHearth. I watched them lose that first series, so it's been a fun ride up until this point.
So the question is, are you going to join the Open Division Alliance?
Yeah, I'm sticking with my guns. But we're going to take a look and see where those guns will be firing as we take a look at the Battleground pool to see what's not going to be played, but more importantly, what will be played, as it will be Volskaya, something that Heroes Hearth loves to play. Braxis being banned out, of course, by Team Liquid. EU does not like that Battleground, but Infernal Shrines being banned out by Heroes Hearth against Team Liquid. Gentlemen, thoughts on this first Battleground with Volskaya?
Volskaya, I think this is a great one to go to as the first map here for these teams, Heroes Hearth versus Liquid. I want to get into the team fights. You know, this is a map where most of the time you cannot give up that first protector. So I want to see both these teams draft team fight compositions and just really head at each other over that first objective. I want an explosive series.
Tetcher, we've seen Ishbu be the initiator for a lot of this, whether it's the Diablo, the Muradin, or the Johanna, allowing players like Crowan to come in. We saw, again, different drafts in the earlier part of today. What do you anticipate seeing when we do get to this draft, which is the name of Sustain, but with Heroes Hearth, they also have the blow-up potential as well?
I think Heroes Hearth, we're going to see, like I said already, a heavy potential on a heavy focus onto tanks. Team Liquid already removing Diablo, and one of the main reasons for this is when they were last on this map, they were running the Garrosh, and a lot of the teams that have been winning today have been running the Garrosh. So removing that removing the Diablo straight away, and then maybe if they wanted to perhaps focus on perhaps Johanna, perhaps Muradin, go immediately into a tank choke, could be a really interesting way to start off this draft, but you'd leave open potentially heroes like Genji.
Yeah, the marquee matchup for me is the solo laners. I want to see what McIntyre ends up with. That's honestly, we saw a little bit of shaky play across the board from offlaners today, I would have to say. And I want to see that stepped up here. We've got Hammer and Medivh ban. On the other side for Team Liquid, it is Diablo and the Genji. Yrel, high emphasis here. Blaze, also high emphasis. Deckard Cain, all of these heroes that just promote that early game fighting on the control point. I think those are the ones we're obviously going to be seeing coming through. What is first pick for Team Liquid is a question entirely. And it's going to be that Yrel, pretty standard.
I can't imagine Heroes Hearth not picking up a tank in the early part of this. Muradin has such high priority. But with the Medivh ban there, a hero that obviously has received multiple nerfs over the last few months is that Tracer. And if there is ever a time for a task Tracer composition, it feels like this is the roaming potential to get that sustained style. I'm not saying that's guaranteed because we haven't called Tracer's number yet, but that has to be considered. Instead, we're getting the Phoenix to start the day, and Garrosh again.
Garrosh once again taken away. Like we already said, Team Liquid ran it last time, but they still have Muradin, they still have Johanna, the tanks that would usually be brought out against a Garrosh. So it's really the question of where Team Liquid want to try and lead their draft. Also, Garrosh unfortunately does not have as many slows, so he is not as effective as empowering a Phoenix as some of the other heroes are.
Like Liquid right now, they have the opportunity at running something like either a Muradin and a Deckard, or a Deckard and a Raynor, as we're seeing here from Team Liquid. And look at this opener. You have Yrel, Raynor, and Deckard Cain on Volskaya. You can set up the potions for that early objective. Raynor has the self-sustain in his own kit. Yrel also just nigh unkillable most of the time. I love this opening 1-3 rotation from Team Liquid. This looks great.
I believe it was the earlier draft where we did see the Garrosh, and I think it was a Raynor paired with the Maiev that we saw from Heroes Hearth, if memory serves correct there. Muradin obviously adds another slow towards Garrosh, has the capabilities of dwarf tossing away, but Raynor post-level 7 adding his own slow with his Pepper, Deckard getting the slow, and Yrel, what we thought was unkillable at times today has not been unkillable, anything but that, but it does take another form of control that keeps Garrosh in check away.
This was a key feature in that draft that you were just mentioning, the Stukov. It was the Raynor, it was the Garrosh, it was that. So being able to steal away the Stukov can give you a big removal on zoning potential and can lower the value at least a little bit of Maiev if that's what they were planning on, because of course pull Umbral Bind into the silence is such an impactful play. So Heroes Hearth not going to be able to do the exact same strategy here, and they still pick her up anyway because Root is a pretty good replacement, and if not, they could even Twilight Dream it.
Take me down this path, because at this point on Volskaya, we've known that North American teams, and Heroes Hearth in particular, when you don't have the Diablo to pair with the Salvo from Phoenix, it's been that triple melee with Thrall. Yep. Maiev here has been primarily ARTHELON's hero. We'll see how that unfolds, but for Team Liquid, we got to get something on that front line.
Absolutely. What the tank is going to be is a question entirely. There's the Johanna and the Abathur for Team Liquid. That is a massive pickup. Abathur, not a hero we see too frequently on Volskaya Foundry, but it can certainly work. We've seen it to great success before in the past. It's just the frequency's not there. On the other side now, HeroesHearth, you see that Abathur. What is your last pick? You were mentioning perhaps it could be something like a Thrall coming in here. It's some with the Phoenix there. What do you guys think?
Blaze still available.
Yep.
That's a McIntyre special, but there is always the potential for them to run a Zeratul that we've seen on this battleground, something that they've done in the past.
There it is.
They pick it up. This is not foreign to them. And Kala, you and I were discussing earlier during one of the games that Maiev, I was saying, and I've looked at the stats, traditionally Maev's most success is with another melee assassin, not another tank bruiser style. So for this fits into the strategy that we know that HeroesHearth has implemented before.
Zeratul in the later fights, he is empowered by the more people he hits with that cleave. Guess what Maiev is really, really good at? Pulling people together. She's like a matchmaker. She brings people together. It's just a really, really unpleasant matchmaker.
Same time, there's less bodies on the side of Team Liquid. You have that Abathur composition, but the clone comes out. Maybe it's the Yrel clone. We saw something like that a little bit earlier, but at the same time, you've got the Rainer as well as your hyper carry. Honestly, I love both of these drafts for these teams. I cannot wait to see how this one plays out.
The immobile backline does scare me somewhat because of the Deckard Rainer back there, so we'll see how well that Maiev plays out. But we are on the way to find out exactly how that does work, as we will send it over to two of the slickest tongue guys that I know in Trixler and Haloran.
Somebody needs to pinch me, because we're in a world right now where Team Liquid or HHE will not make it to day number 2 here at the Western Clash. That's bonkers to me.
It's funny. When I found out that I was going to get to cast HeroesHearth Esports earlier, I was like, cool, I've always wanted to cast a team. I hope I get to cast them again.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would be in this situation where if they lose this series, they're out at day 1 of Western Clash. It's been absolutely insane.
Both these teams are typically a temple when it comes to their matches. They're focused, they're on point, but both their matches today were a little amusement park-like. We'll see if they can switch that up a little bit here and be a little bit more focused in their matches. They'll need to do it. The loser of this match will be going home. Here on the left side in the blue, the honors are yours, Lauren.
On the left, we have HeroesHearth Esports. It's going to be BBJ on Mount Fury, and McIntyre is playing Zeratul. Crowan is on Phoenix. Ishbu is going to throw people around on Garrosh, and ARTHELON will round it out with Maiev.
On the right side, in the red, HASUOBS on Abathur, SPORTBILLY on Johanna, Nurok on Deckard Cain, Arcaner to play Rainer, and ETHERNAL on Yrel. It's going to be Team Liquid.
Trick, I think the message that gets sent early in this game could dictate the entire best of 3. Team Liquid losing that last series in the way they did against Freedom. When we heard them go into that in their interview, they were really worried about how they would do against that team. So do we see a shattered confidence here? Are we going to be able to see them resurge?
That's what I was wondering about here for HeroesHearth Esports, coming to Volskaya Foundry, a map that Team Liquid is known for over in Europe. We saw them earlier, even, against Team Freedom, shut them down on this battleground. So HeroesHearth coming here, I know it's a strength for them, but it's also a statement that they can make. Okay, we'll take you on your best battleground. If they can get a win here, I can see Team Liquid in their spirit being crushed.
They love to go for these high-risk situations, so I think they're going to feel pretty comfortable. Iron Skin gets used to enable the Condemn. No follow-up there. Both of these teams is kind of trading barbs. With that Abathur hat, SPORTBILLY could be a lot more dangerous.
This is something you're going to see pretty often, especially as we move into level 4. A lot of trades happening. Team Liquid going to take a little bit of poke here and there, but they'll be able to heal it up thanks to that Carapace build coming online for Abathur. Now on HeroesHearth side, they would love to find a pick or two in the early game, especially with that Maiev being mixed in with the Garrosh, and that can happen around the control point. Also, don't forget about the items at support camp. We keep seeing the fight around there, but HeroesHearth is mixing it up. They're coming in for an evade.
It's going to be important that they do exactly this on the way to level 10. Before that extra body comes online for Team Liquid, they need to throw their weight around. And in Ishbu's case, he needs to literally throw some weight around by finding people out of position and setting up takedowns for their team. I like this idea, and so far it's kind of spooked Team Liquid.
Yeah, they'll be looking for the lowest amount of weight there. Deckard Cain, that old man, his bones have lost out on some calcium as of late. So if he can find a pick on Nurok, that'd be great here for HeroesHearth. But they're not stepping up too much. The thing is, while they do posture for this aggressive play on the turret, they're still not doing theirs. So they want to take this team fight, it looks like. And Team Liquid has set themselves up well to be in a spot where it's like, okay, if they do take this team fight, we can then make the play for the turret.
ETHERNAL rotated down just in case there was the engagement, but HeroesHearth Esports decides to let that go, which is really interesting to me because in the last best of 3, they looked to want a team fight from beginning, middle, and end, but now we actually see Team Liquid looking to the other side of the battleground. They're on the offensive. They're mad that they're in this situation. They're coming to play.
Is it going to be fast enough, though? That's my question. SPORTBILLY comes over, drops down the anchor, has a condemned slowed down. ETHERNAL's trying to get out, but he does get hit by the groundbreaker. He is tossed to top left. He has a hat, and he's flung backwards as well. ETHERNAL is the focus here for HeroesHearth. They might be able to get the kill, but the potions are coming out. Crowan trying to get the auto attack, but a nice shield comes down to stop them from getting the auto attack. The blind is just enough. I can't believe Team Liquid got away.
This is an instance of reality where somehow ETHERNAL is going to be able to go into the deep end of the pool and casually stroll out after all kinds of aggression and chase from HeroesHearth Esports. They needed that takedown, if anything, for their own confidence.
The teamwork from Team Liquid. First off, the hat's coming in, the heals popping in, the flashlight coming out from Johanna at the right time so Crone can get that big amount of damage coming in. Beautiful play from Team Liquid. They'll have 2 turrets. Now there is a 1 support camp here for HeroesHearth Esports. Actually, do they even have that here? Who has it? Maya possibly in the top left as they step forward and try to push away Team Liquid.
HeroesHearth Esports asserts their dominance over the control point for the moment, but Team Liquid has all the time in the world to get their health pools back up to 100% and then try to make a play. ARTHELON knocks on the door of sorts in the mid lane. Says, Team Liquid, you there to come out to play? SPORTBILLY and the crew, they say yes.
Constant aggression between the two. SPORTBILLY jumping up in the front line, trying to hold that front side. But contesting the point is HeroesHearth Esports, and they're jumping up in numbers, 41%. Finally, Team Liquid is able to grab footing here. And don't forget, meanwhile, during all of this, Maev was working on level 7, but so is Abathur as he soaks on the side.
HeroesHearth is doing a really good job of soaking experience, actually managing to stay ahead of the Abathur composition over the first objective point. Crone was out in the flank trying to do some damage, but you rarely saw lower health bars lowered at all on the side of Team Liquid. Anytime HGC tries to step in, SPORTBILLY, ETHERNAL, they're definitely going to allow Arcaner to chunk that health bar down. HGC's been having a hard time finding the path in.
Yeah, that front line is a problem, but don't forget about the back line too. Arcaner is great against the Gyarados, being able to use that penetrating round when he does step up. But ETHERNAL, maybe not so lucky, getting pulled on in, trying to heal all up. The potions are being flung out by Nurok, and he is keeping ETHERNAL alive with the help of a hat.
Round 2 of Calculated. Somehow ETHERNAL again manages to survive without any lethality so far from HeroesHearth Esports. Team Liquid have to feel really good about their chances. So far, they're hanging on without the ultimate evolution, without things like Ardent Defender. If you can't take down your rail now, when can you?
ETHERNAL just towing that line, that is for sure. Close to death multiple times so far. HeroesHearth has not been able to confirm the kill. SPORTBILLY jumps up with the condemn, trying to lock down Crowin, but HGC with a save. Into the fray, toss him aside, but they cost him his life. HGC will fall as Team Liquid finds a final attack.
Crone will have to tell HGC's story. The end of the fray saves him, but HGC's not going to be able to get out there. First blood is going to go over to Team Liquid, and they're going to start to charge up this point. The road to level 10 was so important for HeroesHearth Esports to try to make something happen before the clone comes around. To lose a team fight, to potentially lose the first objective, that is critical.
ETHERNAL steps up. Is he going to get this? Oh my gosh. Team Liquid steps in, grabs the turret, does drop their own, but they deny it from HeroesHearth Esports, and they go back to controlling the point. Team Liquid just took a massive lead there with that play.
Team Liquid just kicked their feet up on HeroesHearth's coffee table and just like, I'm going to make myself at home if you don't mind. They come away with the first Triglaw protector.
Yeah.
They're going to go ahead and move their way towards the middle fort. Normally, you're looking for a fort wall, maybe 2. The top well, if you can set things up for the next go-round. Team Liquid, they seem to have eyes for more.
I mean, you mentioned that Team Liquid kicks up their feet and sit on the coffee table. Right now, they're just reading the newspaper. They're going through the motions. They go through Team Liquid. They open up the middle of the map. And this has become a common play for them. If they find an early kill, they'll go straight for a fort, and they are just shredding through it. They are looking for that experience jump. But Zeratul has found Abathur and gets a pick. Team Liquid will lose their Abathur while they take a fort.
That's huge for HeroesHearth Esports, but it's definitely going to come at a cost. They need to do things like that to make the Abathur player feel really concerned about how much they want to step forward to go for the body soak. But time and time again so far, Trick, we've seen Crone on Phoenix not pose enough of a threat to stop Team Liquid from going in and taking everything that they want.
Yeah, Phoenix will be able to put some decent damage on the Protector, but nothing that is too lethal. You'll need a Maev combo on someone that's kind of squishy, but Team Liquid doesn't put anyone squishy outside of the Protector. Both Decker, Kane, and Raynor are currently in there, meaning there's no target for HeroesHearth Esports. Now, the well looks like it might just survive, which is a small win for HeroesHearth Esports. Typically, you want to see that taken care of by the Protector. So that being up means that it'll be there for the next control point. So a small little victory, consolation prize.
That's really good for them, and they were all also able to get to level 10 before things got too out of hand. We do see Taunt, obviously, Void Prison, Twilight Dream. I like this. We need to see HeroesHearth try to make plays. I did not think Tranquility was going to help them out at all here.
Twilight Dream won't be helpful if you can find that on Decker Kane stepping up, or even Johanna and attempt to blow them up after the Iron Skin. It's something that you can really try to pull off, but it does require coordination. ETHERNAL continues to hop around the bottom left, and Throw-In steps up. A bit of a chase here from McIntyre as he's wanting to put some damage on him, but ETHERNAL, once again, escapes away from the fight.
ETHERNAL was not at all concerned about the return response from HeroesHearth Esports so far, and for good reason. He hasn't had to worry about it. Time and time again, he's got 5% off. He's like, all right, I'm just going to click on the right side of the screen and lead if you don't mind. And HeroesHearth don't really have anything to say about it. But level 13 will be here sooner or later for both of these teams. We're going to see some more aggression potentially. HeroesHearth, if they're looking to invade, they need to try to take the fight out of it.
Throw just jumps in, gets tossed. Ishbu should be able to grab the turret, so a nice little pickup. Top left, though, SPORTBILLY. A bit of a tussle there with Zeratul. Taunt comes out, and Phoenix gets destroyed on the bottom left, and SPORTBILLY just steps up. A VP has to be used so HeroesHearth can escape.
The Void Prison goes down, but the damage is done. Phoenix caught way too far forward, and now Twilight Dream is actually going to end up being Malfurion silenced as two heroes get taken down in a team fight that HeroesHearth Esports went looking for. They picked the fight, and Team Liquid was more than happy to end.
I got to point out Nurok here. Typically, against a Phoenix player, he always goes for the tornado. The idea is let's catch Phoenix, pull him to the fight, and then blow him up. But he has realized that HeroesHearth wants to bring the fight to Team Liquid. They want to go for that VP. They want to have that salvo setup or even that Twilight Dream. But him being able to stop any momentum that might have may be able to grab in a team fight by using Stay a While and Listen is a great adjustment by him. And it's one of the reasons why Nurok has been so great on the support role.
He's having such a huge impact in this game. Decker Kane in his hands is absolutely dangerous. Level 13 around the corner for Team Liquid, and this game is slowly starting to get away from HeroesHearth Esports. Are they feeling the pressure? If they lose this best of 3, they're out of the entire tournament. Normally, this is a team that even when they lose early on, they have ice in their veins, and they're somehow able to come back. But they look pretty rattled right now.
Well, so far, I do believe that their ice is still frozen, but it could get melted pretty soon. There is something to consider, is that Zeratul at 16. You know, we always talk about Zeratul being in the match. He becomes a self-contained wombo combo. Being able to finish off that cleave build is something that allows for him to almost solo carry the game, especially against a Rainer. If you can jump on the back line, find 2 targets to hit, get that reset available, you can blow them up quickly. So HeroesHearth still has that in their back pocket, and they're not too behind when it comes to infrastructure. Remember that well they see in the top left corner, they are in a position where they can fight over this control point, and I expect them to do so.
They're in a situation right now where they can very well turn this game around. So that level 13 gets picked up before the principal elements of this objective fight even show up. But there are some items in the hands of Team Liquid. The turret, the support camp, 2 turrets actually. Team Liquid, they're going to be coming out guns blazing figuratively and literally over this team.
That's what you do on this battleground. Textbook play here from Team Liquid. Doing what they can to slow down the point that's being controlled by HeroesHearth Esports. They need to deal with this minion wave though on the top lane. They want to get that pushing forward and at least have a little bit of vision thanks to their own Merc Cam. And that's where SPORTBILLY can then step up and try to control the point. But Team Liquid, they seem feisty. They want to go in for an engage. They step up and there's a blessed shield.
They saw that someone was charging up the control point, so at least one person, the reasonable deduction is going to be Ishbu, so why not try to go out there and see if you can get to someone on the back line. Crone's been caught forward more than once so far, so why not? ETHERNAL steps forward again. McIntyre tries to raise the brow of ETHERNAL, but again, he's just going to be able to walk away whenever he feels like it. And ARTHELON, he goes for the pole, looking for SPORTBILLY. Can they make something happen? Not so much.
One lands on Johanna, but the clone has been popped. HASUOBS goes in, tries to buy a little time, knocks back Crow and gets him low on shields. This allows SPORTBILLY to grab the control point. So Team Liquid has established dominance on the control point. And if they can wait out a good 20 seconds, they'll have Blessed Shield back up. They'll still have the ability to stop momentum from ARTHELON, who's looking for that big tether.
The clone is down. Plenty of time for HeroesHearth to try to make something happen without worrying about that resource in the hands of Team Liquid. And here they go. Ishbu drops down the turret. They're looking to play. SPORTBILLY gets thrown into the stun. The root comes out from Decker Kane, and suddenly Decker Kane wants to read a book out of Newsweek. gets to sleep on 2 people. Void Prison on the back line, though. Decker Kane, he finally goes down.
That VP was huge, and Chrome being able to sneak out will allow for him to get healed on up. He just needs a couple of potions, but if he can buy enough time, HeroesHearth can turn around and have a nice 5v4. ETHERNAL is hunting. He wants to kill. He wants to pick up ARTHELON. The vault allows him to escape. ARTHELON actually able to get out. Crowan turns around. He drops a salvo, and he puts out some damage.
ARTHELON with the slick getaway, able to round the corner off the conveyor belt. I was like, excuse me, ETHERNAL. Thanks, SPORTBILLY. I was just trying to leave, if you don't mind. And they're actually going to be able to hang on. Taking down Decker Kane, critical to the success of HeroesHearth Esports. Without that support, the Abathur hat is not going to be enough, so Team Liquid finds themselves having to back away. They do have time to potentially try to make a run at it. SPORTBILLY walks in.
They're waiting for Decker Kane. Decker Kane's on the way. Meanwhile, Abathur has been soaking, so a slight experience lead for Team Liquid, but they don't want to throw that opportunity away. They realize, okay, HeroesHearth has set up a nice concave. They're going to get the control point. So Team Liquid will walk away with an experienced lead, but HeroesHearth now has a chance to close that gap with the Protector.
And you can hear the audience cheering them on. They need that rallying cry and that motivation to keep the momentum going in their favor. They could very well find themselves getting to level 16 at the same time or ahead thanks to this Trigger Off Protector. They go through the well. And then they turn their attention over towards the fort. Johanna just kind of waves hi to Garas, and he's like, nah, I'm all right. Don't worry about that.
They have to play a little bit slow here because they're actually trying to go for a pincer maneuver. So we have Yrel coming in from the back left by ETHERNAL, actually taking a lot of damage from the Protector. Needs to be careful. But on the bottom lane, oh my gosh, ETHERNAL going to die? Oh my golly. A big mistake by him, and HeroesHearth finds a kill. And here's the thing, in the bottom lane, they have Zeratul and Maev. They're damaged, trying to siege down a fort. They're going for multiple ways of experience. They get Arcane or 2.
I've been wondering where the exclamation point of their team damage was going to come from. And
Apparently
the
it's a robot.
answer is a Rock'em Sock'em robot. That's going to be 2 heroes getting taken down on the side of Team Liquid, and they're really starting to establish themselves all across this map. They go to the top fort. Enough time on this Protector to do some serious damage to this middle fort. So right now, HeroesHearth, for the first time in this game, find themselves well in the driver's seat.
And that definitely hurts. With Maev taking out that bottom lane in the well, putting it down to half health, they set themselves up for the next control point. They get a couple of kills. In fact, they tie it up in kills 4-4. And they also jump up massively in experience. Team Liquid, who was in control this entire game, it felt like, has now found themselves on the back foot. They are a level behind, and HeroesHearth continues to keep the pressure up on the turrets.
Norak is eating a whole bunch of damage. McIntyre is only going to become more and more of a problem now that level 16 was picked up. The Unstoppable Cleanse is going to allow Ishbu to get out of there. Ishbu, SPORTBILLY throws out the Frisbee, lands the Captain America impersonation, and a 2-person taunt locks in Team Liquid in a huge salvo. That's 1, maybe even 2, but they end up losing Zeratul up top.
McIntyre is having a wonderful game. Jumping on the back line in the top right corner made it hard for that front line to be paired up with Team Liquid. Team Liquid's trying to answer back, put some damage on ARTHELON. ARTHELON pulling Arcaner in, gets hit by the Warden Cage, and that's going to be another pickup. HeroesHearth is running over Team Liquid.
ARTHELON throws down the Bounty Castle and goes, before you leave, there's a little bit more we want to say. They're going to come away with another takedown. 3-1 is always going to be a favorable trade in this situation. The more damage they can put on this bottom wall, if they can come away with a tower or 2, the entire wall, if they come away with the next Protector, that could be game.
This is becoming a statement. HeroesHearth has brought Team Liquid to a battleground they enjoy playing on. We see him come here very often on online play. And in the early game, Team Liquid, normal play from them. Okay, we're controlling the items, we're getting the control points, we got a Protector, but HeroesHearth in this late game has taken over. And now with them being 1 level away from 20, and that's before the Protector setup, they are setting themselves up to get a win, especially with some damage on that keep wall on the bottom right.
I like that they are able to get that. They back away. They're like, all right, we want to further establish our control over the battleground. So they go for the support camp. They should be able to pick up their own turret. But ETHERNAL and the crew might have a thing or two to say about that. They're going to go ahead and contest the support camp. The Ardent Defender gets used pretty early, and somehow Team Liquid comes away with it. It's going to cost them Decker Kane.
It will cost them Decker Kane. The support camp comes out. ETHERNAL jumps out, but McIntyre might fall too, and McIntyre does. A 1-for-1 trade. Team Liquid continuing to chase. HASUOBS on the clone, trying to find a target he can knock into his team. But HeroesHearth gives them nothing. They pull away. They have to play safe. With 20 right around the corner and them already having a 1-for-1 trade, they can't afford to give much more up.
Trick, we are in for a very exciting series. For Team Liquid to rally back that fast and play that position aggressively, they had to, but they have the ability to do that. They're confident in themselves. If they want to make it to day number 2, they're going to need to keep doing things like that. But level 20 is around the corner for HeroesHearth, so they could find themselves in a tough spot.
There's always the Abathur factor, though. Don't forget about that. With you moving to level 20 yourself, Team Liquid, they should be able to move that symbiote at level 20, which is a great power spike. Having the clone has been a great tool for them already. Just a matter of getting there. With a control point up in 20 seconds, HeroesHearth will be in a position to get a substantial lead on that point. In fact, I don't know if Team Liquid can even soak all the way up to level 20. They need a full level and a quarter and they have to do it safely.
There's a pretty thin margin for them to be able to take any sort of team fight on even talents here. So they might find themselves in a position where they have to go down their Storm tier talents if they really want to try to hold on to this game. This heads-up decision to go for this top fort, get the experience while you can when you know Heroes Hearth is on the other side of the battleground. They're looking to take the siege camp. They're trying to make themselves at home.
But Heroes Hearth realizes, okay, they're going for experience. They're trying to get as much as they can. So they answer back to themselves, and they go straight in for a keep on the bottom right corner. This will give catapult pressure, but also a window for them to get the protector and push in for the core. They're trying to make sure that Team Liquid does not take this timer they have available and to get that level 20. They're putting as much as they can to go for the throat.
This is the Heroes Hearth that I know and see week in and week out during league play of the HGC. Their macro decisions, seeing that Team Liquid went up top to go for the support camp, well, we'll just take your bottom keep if you don't come back here. And all the while, they're charging up the next objective phase, already 60% and rising. Level 20 is going to be here, so Team Liquid, they're going to have one good solid shot at a team.
You mentioned this is the Heroes Hearth, you know, this is the Team Liquid I know, trying to force a fight. Oh my gosh, a little bit too early though as they go in for the level 20. Sounds comes out. 20 is being soaked by Avatar. He's trying to grab it. SPORTBILLY sitting on this top left corner, getting focused down. Does he get the indestructible in time? No, he wasn't able to click it, and Johanna will fall.
The indestructible not being there in that critical moment could very well decide this
second.
entire game. Level 20 was picked up, and he was like, all right, control 3 maybe. Not so much. That is a huge takedown, but they're not done yet. Arcane is going to get yanked along with Norak. Somehow, Decker Kane finds himself in the front line. That's not where he wants to be.
Oh my.
And suddenly, the Librarian again is going to get taken down, but HASUOBS, ETHERNAL, is looking like a full team wipe.
This is disgusting. The Warden's cage being set down, constantly pulling members into McIntyre, and he just drops his Q over and over and over and over again. He finally finds the 4 multiple kills, and Heroes Hearth can turn their sights towards a core. With no Johanna up for about 20 seconds, Heroes Hearth Esports has come to Volskaya Foundry, a map that Team Liquid is typically strong on, and they have shut them down in the late game.
And that's a huge statement to make for the rest of this best of 3. The Void Prison goes down for the memes, apparently, but I don't see an instance where Team Liquid is going to be able to hold on to this game. Heroes Hearth Esports, they struggled early on. That's something of a staple of them, but once they got into that mid to late game, once level 16 got picked up for Zeratul, it looked like a whole different matchup. We're seeing signs of life out of Heroes Hearth Esports.
Heroes Hearth is able to grab a victory here on Team Liquid in game number 1, extending that to, of course, game number 2 in this best of 3 series. They just need one more to make it to Saturday. Whereas Team Liquid on the other side, you have to worry about them a little bit here. This is one of their favorite battlegrounds to go to, and them falling behind a little bit in the late game has got to be hurting their morale.
That was home court for Team Liquid, so to lose that game in that fashion is definitely going to bring some cause for concern going into game number 2. They also went with something of a gadget composition with the Abathurs, not the most standard composition that you would see. Does Team Liquid feel rattled? Are they going to try to go for something more easy to pull off, something easier to execute, or will they stick to their guns with some of these picks like Abathur, like Medivh? I guess we're about to find out.
I can't wait to find out, but let's go over to our analyst desk and prepare for game number 2.
Well, 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 we finally see Heroes Hearth finding the magic around the Maiev, making several plays to ARTHELON, and that looks like the Heroes Hearth we normally see in their play.
That it did, and they came out swinging in that game. There was a couple moments where Team Liquid did look like they might be able to sneak it back, but overall, that was Heroes Hearth's game.
I absolutely agree. To me, you mentioned it yourself. ARTHELON on that Maiev looked absolutely fantastic. In fact, we have a replay to go over that kind of showcases the way that he was setting up the map and, setting up the team fights, in fact. And I just absolutely loved watching him play this hero. So right here, you know, there's nothing too crazy going on. But what happened off of this play is the fact that Heroes Hearth were able to get level 20 off of everything that happened here, pick up 2 fortification camps, and get the bottom keep down to about 20% HP, which really helped them set up the rest of the game. If we scrub through here, we've got just normal setup here. We got to keep our eyes onto ARTHELON. He's represented on the bottom side, which allows Maiev to find those flanks. You know, in a position like this, Maiev can realistically come in through here. We do see ARTHELON right here for now, but as Heroes Hearth kind of they play the pacing of this fight a little bit. They let Team Liquid step in a bit. Ishbu, you know, takes a bit of damage. There is the Blessed Shield from Johanna, but continuing to move in is Team Liquid. Norak also just gets caught out, and look at the members of Heroes Hearth here. The positioning from Team Liquid is just absolutely atrocious at this point. The double taunt on the bottom side, big setup here for Heroes Hearth, and then they continue to start moving in. Norak, he gets a massive sleep, but look at his HP off of it. Yes, McIntyre also very, very low, but getting the Void is really important. He ends up going down, but this is the big point that I want to discuss. Like, watch what ARTHELON does here. They get the 1-for-1. ends up being a 1 for 2 because ARTHELON pushes in, but the big part is he's not done. He's looking to flex those mechanics, drops the cage, gets the tether onto Arcaner. Arcaner gets pulled in again, and that is resulting in another kill. Yes, we're seeing the 18 to 16 here, but what happens, as I said, 20 gets picked up for HeroesHearth off this play, and it really sets them up to win the game.
I can tell you that when we're sitting over here and we watch that play, we're like, all right, fight's over. Arthon's like, hold on, not yet. And it was just like full poggers at that point.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, wow, okay, that happened. And that did open up quite a bit for HeroesHearth. Team Liquid, we know they are a resilient team. They are finding themselves down 1 game. Tetcher, what do you think they need to do to kind of bring this back? Was the Abathur maybe not typical for them? What do we need from them?
We know the Abathur is typical for them. They like those little heroes sneaking them in every now and again, but I don't know if I want them to go more wild or less wild. Like, I don't know if I don't know whether I'm just really wanting to see Vikings this tournament, or whether I'm feeling that maybe Team Liquid should just settle it down a bit, go for something like maybe Battlefield if it's still available, and trying to focus that down and just maybe some good team fighting and race comp style.
Let's see where we are going to go and whether it does warrant a potential Vikings composition, and our battleground will be that of Powers of Doom.
Oh, here we go, ladies and
The
gentlemen.
fabled best battleground for a large portion of time for the Lost Vikings, and this is their pick.
Why must they bait me like this?
I mean, it is something that we could see here. Like, it's not even like meme worthy. This could actually show up, and if it does, it would be fantastic.